And hello. Welcome back to the Gay Racing Podcast. Zach and Alex are back with you to talk about NASCAR at Atlanta. It's the end of Pride Month, Alex.
Yep.
Finally.
Happy Pride. Even though this is the last day of Pride Month this year, Pride will continue throughout the year. As Zach said, we're going to talk about NASCAR Atlanta today. Our last Pride Month guest episode actually going to come out July 1st.
Yeah, psych, Pride Month's not over. We had a really cool guest. We talked with Scott Lawrence, who is who races for a sim racing team called Prismatic Motorsports, and they are filled with just non-binary and trans sim racers. It was really cool to learn about it because it's something that we kind of talked about, how in the sim racing community it can be hard to kind of like feel included as, you know, queer people, but making a space for that. It was a really cool conversation. So that will be out on all platforms the day after this episode comes out. So it's a really cool conversation. Yeah. And we yapped about iRacing and stuff. So yeah. Any fellow sim racers out there, you'll enjoy it.
I think you guys will like that, especially our trans and non-binary listeners. I think you guys will really, really love that. And if you haven't yet, our other guest episodes from Pride Month with Nate Stewart, Ryan Hines, and Zack Karen all have very interesting stories within the world of motorsport. Go check those episodes out. I think I love those conversations. I think this is my favorite Pride Month we've done.
We had a great Zach. Pride Month, yeah. And that 2311 Pride shirt that you're wearing, that package that we got. I'm wearing a Pride shirt too. I'm wearing a Ford shirt. Ford's gay. You know those Ford owners. That's been my favorite. I don't normally like AI clips, but there's that one AI clip of the Ford truck owners. Mm-hmm. You've seen me share it. I love that. That's my favorite. Oh my god. You know how we always complain about Sunday night races, Alex? Because we got to go to work the next day. And so we're like, more Saturday night races, please. Well, the one time NASCAR has a Saturday night race, I have plans.
You were booked and busy.
What's up with that? NASCAR? So Atlanta, I watched the last half of the race mostly, and I was kind of
you watched the part that matters.
Well, you texted me when the big wreck happened, which we'll get there, and I was like, "Girl, what?"
So the big wreck happened, and I sent you a picture to like prove I'm not exaggerating. I'm like, it's literally 20 plus cars.
I'm not getting downforwarded today, Alex. Oh my god, you're trying to troll me.
Look, I say that you watch the part that matters. The first part of this race kind of had no flow to it. It was just caution, caution. Then it started raining at 30 laps or something. There was a caution for that.
The Xfinity race was like that too. There was just no flow. Like there's just constant wrecking. It's frustrating.
So first of all, a lot of people are saying this is like the best race of the year. I saw one tweet that said this is their best race ever. I do not agree with that.
The last 30 laps were the best 30 laps of the year, maybe.
Yes. I can agree with that.
But it's not like a race this wasn't this year, but like the Kansas race in the spring of last year, the racing was throughout so good.
The whole thing.
And to be fair, I think the finish of a race is the most important. So sure. Yeah.
And to be fair, this was a good race when they were actually racing. It's just they had a lot of trouble racing in the first half. They just kept crashing, which that happens. It's super speedway, Atlanta now. And I still think Atlanta is leagues better than Daytona and Talladega in their current states. Atlanta is probably the best track on the schedule right now.
We don't normally see wrecks like that at Atlanta. Like we did the first few years. I think the first few years when there was a lot of grip on the asphalt still we did. Of course, this race was at night. So like I think they had more grip. They were a little bit more packed up.
You know what's interesting about the big crash? Christopher Bell, it started when Bell got loose. Just got loose. Wasn't like a bad push or nothing. Bell just got loose and collected
it's like on iRacing. We're just wrecking because we can't control our cars. Because that's the problem with Atlanta on iRacing. It's like instead of wrecking because of bad bumps, we're just wrecking because we can't drive. Like literally. And that was kind of and that we see that like at ARCA at Daytona, like people just can't hold the car off turn 4. But still, like Atlanta Motor Speed. Oh, I'm sorry, Echo Park Speedway. I didn't mean to dead name her in Pride Month. But no, I'm not calling it Echo Park. But Atlanta is. I feel uncomfortable saying this almost, but it's like this is the best track in NASCAR.
Yeah.
As much as like I understand there's people that like this type of like ADHD brain racing where it's like they're all packed up, shouldn't be glorified. But and we'll get into this with Chase Elliott, but like I feel like in terms of tracks that really show driver skill, Atlanta is, I mean, there are some drivers that just didn't get to the front last night, and I don't think it's because their car is bad. You know what I mean? It's just they didn't know how to maneuver because it's not easy. Some guys make it look easy, like Brad, like
Chase.
Yeah. But I don't think it's an obvious skill, and it's not something that the drivers can necessarily even figure out from like data, like SMT data. It's I don't know how long that's going to last, because I think the more Atlanta races we get, it's crazy that there's already been 8, but there's just such a big gap to see the same guys at the front of these races like Brad Keselowski, the Penske cars, they got wrecked out early, and then like the Hendrick cars, they're always up front at Atlanta.
Yeah. And the thing is too, this Atlanta track changes every single time they go there. Brand new track, that the asphalt is changing each time they go there. It is losing grip the more that they are going there. And it is really fascinating. And the more they race there, the better my opinion of it gets.
My opinion is so good of it. And I hate the conversations of like Atlanta pre-repave was awful. I don't even like humoring that, because I don't think they're almost they're 2 different tracks anyways.
You can't compare them.
I don't think it's appropriate to compare them. No. And someone also brought up that the next gen wouldn't be able to handle the bumps on old Atlanta anyways, which fair point. We saw Texas, but Alex, listen, we've had discussions of going to Atlanta next year, the summer race, and I think I want to. I really want to. I think if you've never been to a NASCAR race before, and if you could pick one to go to, Atlanta is got to be the choice. I don't think there's better racing on the schedule. And again, I feel weird to say that because it's pack racing still, but the driver skill that we see on display and the driver skill that Chase Elliott displayed Saturday night to win that race, it's just something that we don't really get literally at any other racetrack.
Yeah. Well, it's basically like old Daytona Talladega,
it's
where
chess.
It's skill.
They're actually playing chess, because Daytona and Talladega these days, it feels like they're playing chess, except you're not allowed to move. Like the rules are too strict. But now it's like the thing of super speedway racing, where it's not really about how fast your car is. It's about if it can handle, and it's about how you know how to drive it. Like passing is possible if you know what you're doing. Right? Like, I mean, we saw guys swapping the lead like it was 10 laps to go in the Indy 500. Like it was, that's just good racing. Something
I texted you, and I saw people on social media saying this too. This was kind of like a old IndyCar race at Texas from the 2010s. And I'm like, I saw that, and I texted you that. I'm like, it really is like that.
It is.
They were just trading the lead. They were able to run 2 wide.
Are they saying that because we don't go to big ovals anymore? Because they did race like that at Texas, low key. I'm just saying, like in 2022.
They did.
I'm just saying.
Low
we
key.
have already forgotten.
Like
we have forgotten already. God.
But, no, this is a great race, and I had no idea who was going to win this until the white flag came out, and Chase Elliott was in second.
Zane Smith with that damn Aaron's Lucky Dog was up there ready to win that race. I was so concerned.
You as they took the white that Chase Elliott is in great position, and he made the move in turn 1. And with Alex Bowman being in third, there was just nothing Brad Keselowski could do. He wasn't going to get a push from Bowman because his teammate's now in the lead. It was perfectly played, really, by Hendrick Motorsports and Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman being a team player. I feel bad for Brad because, how many times has he nearly won an Atlanta race, specifically, just a race in general, since he's been in the 6 car?
How many? It's really Atlanta, though. Like, I feel like
Atlanta.
He has lost this race specifically.
Yeah.
Like, so much at this track, so
crazy.
Much. It is insane.
Yeah.
And, the thing with him and Chris Buescher, how did Chris Buescher even, like, get shuffled out? I forgot what happened. I think he went for, like, I don't remember if he went for a block.
There was so much happening. I honestly don't remember, but he was up there. And I think if he was able to stay with Brad, it's possible that Brad could have still won this race.
They had full control for a long time.
Yeah.
They had full control. Like they were running 1-2. And I was like, how is anyone going to beat the RFK cars? And I mean,
You mentioned Zane Smith. I thought Zane Smith was going to win this race for a minute. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was leading late. Eric Jones was quietly in the top 10. It was just crazy. That last 30 laps, like you said earlier, probably the best we've seen all year. Probably the best super speedway racing we've seen.
It felt like how it used to feel like watching the end of the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
Because you see the players. And another thing that really felt alive about that race is the players. Like I saw Carson Hocevar kind of like knocking on the door in the top 10. And I'm like, I remember what he did here in the spring, and he's got tape flying off the car. I'm like, dude, he could really cause some havoc here and like win this race. Ricky Stenhouse out of nowhere with, I believe, fresh tires. He had fresher tires.
He has one of the fewest fresh tires, as was Tyler Reddick.
And I'm really surprised he didn't win that race. I'm almost wondering if Ricky, like if he goes back and could do that again, he wins that race, because I'm really shocked. Like, cause he got to like the lead, but he couldn't hold it. I don't know what was going on with that. There were just so many players, and each one had kind of a different storyline going on with how they kind of were at the front or how their car was handling. That just felt like what NASCAR is all about. And I hate that because it's super speedway racing, and I don't want to see super speedway racing every week. But girl, I don't know, man. That's kind of better than what we get at some of the intermediates. I'm not gonna lie. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of good, but too much of a good thing. It's not a good thing.
So Chase Elliott ended a 44 race winless streak. His last one was Texas last year. And Chase Elliott, man, he's pretty underrated in my opinion right now, just because he hasn't won a lot, but he's always quietly in the top 3 or so, top 5 or so in points.
Yeah. I think he's perfectly rated because I think everyone acknowledges that he's really good and consistent. Well, no, you're right, because I think people have been actually critical of Chase, or really the 9 team. I'm going to say the 9 team.
Alan Gustafson has calls to get fired every week.
Oh my God. Crazy. Like, people want Alan. Like, I mean, Chase Elliott is second in points. Like,
did you know that, guys? Chase Elliott is second in points.
He had like the best average finish last year, like period, of like all the full-time drivers. Like, Chase Elliott, I think the criticism again comes from what the expectation is in NASCAR. The expectation is to win races, right? That's what gets rewarded the most. And the 9 team, like, they don't win. They haven't been winning a lot. And I think part of that might be, Chase Elliott or Alan Gustafson. My theory with Chase Elliott is, he just hasn't won a lot in this next gen car. I think he's one of those drivers where his style does not match against this car. I saw someone on social media say that Chase doesn't really like to drive the car on the edge, which is really hard to do with the next gen car. And that's why, we've seen people like Kyle Busch. He tries to drive it on the edge, and then he steps on himself and wrecks. Chase Elliott doesn't want to do that. That's why he's been consistent, but not winning. If you're consistent, you're not going to be pushing that, that 99% that you need to beat Kyle Larson, for example, or whatever. But I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I will say, though, Atlanta, as I mentioned earlier, Atlanta feels like one of those tracks where not only does it require skill, but you have to drive the car a different way than you do at really any other track, because you have a lot of grip. You're not necessarily wide open, but dirty air doesn't like take you like, a whole second behind the car that's in front of you. I think Chase Elliott was able to display some of his skill last night that he's had trouble displaying and at any other track. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. I think Atlanta's just the perfect mix. And again, that's why we see guys like Ricky Stenhouse making moves, getting to the front at these races. It's a chess match. The skill set's different at Atlanta than other tracks, and Chase felt quite literally more at home at Atlanta. No pun intended. Just more at home with what he has to do to drive that car. But I'm gay, and I don't know. I've never driven one of these cars. So that's just what I think. Because, we see... I don't know. But I think the criticism for the 9 team, I wonder if that continues. And I wonder if he wins again this year. That's a fair question. Yeah. Is this it? Texas last year, that was it.
Right.
Okay. See you next year.
I feel like Chase has run better, but they've kind of gotten in their own way. And I look at Kansas specifically. Like, I feel like they had the opportunity to best Larson there, and they just
I almost wonder I almost wonder if that was like the pressure of having a winless streak, because that definitely plays a role when you haven't won in over a year, and that goes for the whole team, the pit crew. Like that pressure, is that pressure now off now that they have a win? So, for example, where are we going? Chicago or whatever, Sonoma, whatever. If we go to a race now and the 9 teams in position to win, are they going to feel a lot more comfortable? Because, like, dude, we're proven winners. And yeah, it was a super speedway, but it's Atlanta. Like, they won that race with skill. Like, you know, is this gonna be a boost to the 9 team as we head to this race to the race to the playoffs? 8 races left. So.
Yeah. Before we do that, I want to talk about Brad Keselowski, because after the race, Alan Cavana said to Brad that he doesn't get many chances, and Brad said, like, really immediately fought back to that and was like, "No, we do. We get plenty of chances, and especially we'll continue." Lately. Yeah.
What did I say last week? RFK is the best team to spoil that trio of Hendrick, JGR, and Penske with wins right now. Because again, all 3 cars, and this happened at Pocono too, not just Atlanta, where they're always good.
Yeah.
All 3 cars are running in the top 10 and finishing in the top 10, mind you.
I mean, Brad is 27th in points after Atlanta. I think he was like 32nd not that long ago.
Yeah.
But I just got to say, I hope Brad Keselowski has several more wins than him and could even have another competitive season, because it was really refreshing seeing him be up there. It reminded me of how good he is on these super speedways.
Because he is.
Like you said, we've seen how good he is at Atlanta, Talladega, Daytona, even in the 6 car. But he hasn't been able to pull off a win yet in the 6 on a super speedway, you know?
That's the
it's crazy.
Robbed so much. I don't even want to say robbed, but like he's had the best car, the best with performance so many times. And again, part of that is just the current state of Talladega and Daytona. And last year he was so close to winning Talladega, but Chevy was playing team orders. Like and that kind of happened again Sunday night. Like, God, just he's really got to keep his teammates up there with him. I don't know. I think that's kind of what he's looking at. It's like he literally did everything he could. I don't know if he actually made a mistake. And that happened that one race with the Penske cars too. The Penske teammates beat him. So I'm starting to see a trend with that at least. But Brad, because he had a horrible start this season, but it's like these last 9 races, it's like the second quarter of the season, RFK as an organization have become one of the better teams.
And you mentioned Kansas for Chase Elliott. Brad Keselowski was leading Kansas, and then he had a tire go out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Chris Buescher is up in the top 5 every week.
Yeah. A lot of missed opportunities for Brad and Chase, but seemingly this was a turnaround for both of them. But Chase obviously running a lot better than the 6 overall.
Yeah. The 6, they're just not going to be able to make up the hole they dug, unfortunately. That's just kind of how it is. The regular season is just too short.
Brad needs to win. I mean, Daytona's still coming up for Brad.
You don't want to rely
never
on
won.
Daytona.
Keselowski's never won on a road course in Cup.
Which is crazy. Really, he's only been that good at like Watkins Glen. That was the only road course he really had like shining moments at.
I mean, they were definitely. He was definitely part of the highlight reel at Watkins Glen a couple times, but never got the win.
That damn Australian took it from him, Marcus Ambrose.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's talk about the playoff points. We have 8 races until we are at the playoffs now. And something that was interesting after that huge crash is that there were only 2 drivers who had won in 2025 who are still in contention, and that was SVG and Kyle Larson.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That wreck took out like all of the winners. That's crazy.
And
that's why that race felt so weird the other night. I'm like, where is everybody?
There was a tweet by Eric Estep, and he said it's like you're watching the All-Star Open.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, oh, it's the sprint showdown. Of course it is.
Yeah, like, oh, Alex Bowman's out front. That's why. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm getting ready to share the, what's it called? That screen with the points. I can figure it out. There we are. So here's the playoff leaderboard presented by TNT is what they had on the TV the other night. Again, I don't know how to make it bigger, and I don't want to try.
That's fine.
Or do I? Wait, I think we can do this. No, because I'm recovering. I can't see. I don't know. I don't know, girl. I don't know. I think I do, and I don't. Wait. Oh, that looks better. Did you do that?
Yeah, I did. That.
Okay, look at you, Alex. All
anyway,
right, there you go.
Sorry to our audio people. So
I suck. I'm sorry.
For video people, Tyler Reddick is plus 128, Chris Buescher plus 52, Alex Bowman plus 39, Bubba Wallace plus 23. Only 4 spots. Those are the last 4 spots right now. We're actually running low.
Because Chase locked himself in, but
Yep.
I think everyone's glad that Chase won and not Brad.
And I was
Chase was
just
already
going to
in
say
anyway.
that, Zach, because with, again, all the drivers who have been competitive this year, minus Kyle Larson, were eliminated pretty early on.
And he hasn't been
race.
competitive this month, so that doesn't even count. He must have had major damage because I did not really see him much last night.
Do you know you switched
Saturday
tabs,
night.
Zach, on the video?
No. Sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. I fire me. We need a technical. Fire me. It's over.
Oh my gosh. Below the cut line is Ryan Preece minus 23. If we get no more winners, Ryan Preece might outpoint Bubba Wallace low-key. If we get no more winners.
He might outpoint Bubba. Yeah, actually, because 23-11 is just. I mean, they couldn't even get their brakes straight at Pocono, so that's what concerns me. I don't like playing the Bubba's not good at road courses card though.
He's been a lot better, but I feel like sometimes 23-11 hasn't had the pace,
I don't know.
which is
Ryan Preece
odd.
hasn't set the world on fire on road courses either, though. Like
True.
So what oval? We have Dover, we have Indy, we have Iowa. I don't know. A lot of tracks that we don't have a lot of notes for. So
yeah,
I don't know. Bubba, the 23 team, they just gotta like put races together.
Yeah,
they just had a lot.
That's kind of been the story of Bubba's career at 23-11. Really.
Honestly, literally.
Yeah,
and
it's
again,
been better, but still,
it's not good anyways because that cut line's going to move. There's no way we don't get a new winner in the next 8 weeks.
I agree. I mean,
3
look
road
at this.
courses, a super speedway.
Eric Jones minus 49, AJ Allmendinger minus 59, Carson Hocevar's minus 62.
Carson
the first 4
Hocevar
out.
If he's, I don't know if this is possible. Can Carson Hocevar point his way in?
Not with the road courses.
Yeah, you're right. Because he's not that good on road courses. Yeah, if we had a bunch of ovals, yeah. Because there's only 4 normal like oval races, right? Yeah.
He would need to have extremely good races at Dover, Richmond, and Iowa. And I guess Indy.
Yeah, so he's not going to point his way in. And again, if that cut line moves up. Now, can Carson Hocevar win one of those races? I have no idea because it's only 4 that we're looking at.
I was going to say possibly Carson could win.
That's only 4 races, though. That's the crazy thing. If you're not good at road courses, you're really only looking at 4 races because everyone's looking at Daytona. You can't just say, oh, well, we have Daytona circled. Girl, join the club. Everyone has Daytona circled. Good luck. Ryan Blaney's going to win it. Like, okay.
Harrison Burton won Daytona a year ago.
Well, no, either Ryan Blaney's going to win it or Corey Haim's going to win it. Like, it's going to be something like that. So,
is there any name not here, Zach, that you want to?
Well, that's why I switched tabs because I wanted to get the full picture of the points. This is not the points. Who's not on the Kyle? Oh, right, because it's Josh Berry, but he's already locked in. Kyle Busch fell off the playoff, kind of the top 20. Stenhouse gained a bunch of spots with his really good run. Michael McDowell, Ty Gibbs. I forget about Ty Gibbs. Like, again, the same thing with the 6 car. Even if they're running better now, they still dug such a big hole at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Which at least, like, you do have to perform good the entire season if you want to be in the playoffs, I guess. But
yeah, and 2 for the road courses, Michael McDowell, Ty Gibbs could be like surprise upsets.
They're the few guys that are actually circling the road courses. I feel like I think Ty Gibbs, obviously Allmendinger, not Stenhouse, McDowell, maybe Suarez, but girl, I don't know. Why are you so far back? Why are you so far back?
Not good.
Yeah, and then Noah Gregson down here. Noah Gregson, I don't think he's got any. He might have stuff squared. I don't think he's circling anything. I'm not even trying to talk trash. Oh my god.
But yeah,
you can go to Chicago without hitting anything. That'd be great.
That is our playoff update. Now let's talk about the other championship thing-ish going on, kind of. The in-season challenge. That, do you think...
is... when a game releases, and it's like really good, but there's a lot of like little things that kind of ruin your enjoyment.
It's buggy.
Of it.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, not even bugs, just design choices. It's really just design choices.
It's
Like-
kind of like how people hate Mario Kart World right now.
Yes.
But like in a few like updates, like in a couple years, it's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of
Yeah.
games come out these days.
Because they released the game with a lot of minor oversights that they didn't think about. Yeah.
That's kind of this in-season tournament, because here's the thing. Like they have a whole TNT alt cast for it, and that's more of a TNT thing because this is their little tournament, which I love. I love how TNT can have this. They have a whole alt cast for it. I didn't get to check it out because I was busy, but I'm curious on what it was like. So is this supposed to be taken seriously? Because that's the problem.
So
with me.
Here's my thing. It's silly, and that's okay. I think it can be silly, and that's perfectly fine. But if they want people to take this seriously and they want it to potentially try and bring in new fans who like watch like the NBA, because TNT just lost the NBA rights, but they're known for their NBA coverage. If you're trying to bring in that kind of audience, you should probably make it good and more serious, because starting this at Atlanta, you're just asking for trouble. And that's what NASCAR wanted. They wanted some upsets. I don't think they anticipated.
That's why they started the playoffs at Atlanta.
The 7 of the top 8 in points to be eliminated in round 1. I don't think they anticipated that. But if it's just for fun, Ty Dillon can beat Denny Hamlin in round 1. That's fine. I think it's funny.
To be fair, Atlanta normally doesn't have those really big wrecks. To be fair.
Right.
But it's still
at the same time, Zach, it's Atlanta, Chicago, Sonoma.
We're looking for the best NASCAR
do something like this, the prime tracks would have been awesome for this.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
You start at the 600, like that would have been,
well,
pretty.
Know what this reminds me of? It reminds me that elimination formats don't work in racing. Who said that? Did someone hack us? Who said that? That's crazy. Whoa.
You have changed your mind on the playoffs more than anyone.
No, I haven't. My opinion stayed very similar.
Just like 2 years ago, you were loving them. But
no,
anyway.
I didn't love them. I appreciated them. There's a difference. There's a very big difference, Alex. Here, okay. So what am I talking about? Like,
do you think this is a big deal that there's like not really many big names left in this thing already after one race?
I don't know about that yet. Because the biggest issue with me at first was the seating. Mm-hmm. Like, why is William Byron seated lower than whoever he was battling?
The seating was
like, it doesn't really get me excited, because here's the thing, if the tracks are going to introduce a bunch of randomness, your seating needs to be as less random as possible. So just order them by points, which is a big sample size, right? And that's just the thing with racing. It's like, I don't know, because I guess in other sports, when they do these tournaments, like besides football, they normally do like, well, what does the NBA do for their in-season tournament? Is it
it's just like not really an in-season. It's not like an in-season tournament. That's just how this is how their playoffs work.
No, they have an in-season tournament, NBA. Like that's I don't know if that's how their play. I don't know. My point is,
the bracket is how their playoffs work in the NBA.
You can't be shocked that this is happening when it's just one race and it goes off to the next, which kind of, implies that this should not be taken seriously.
And I don't think it should be. But if NASCAR wants it to be.
Here's the thing, though. If you don't, you know what else isn't taken seriously? The All-Star race. Do people care about the All-Star race anymore? No. Because that's literally what this is. It's just another All-Star race, which I don't think we needed. You know what I mean? And sure, the drivers can pretend that they care, which they do. It's $1 million. Who doesn't want $1 million? Like that would pay off something. Like, like something that would they can do something with that. But I almost wonder, and I said this last week, it was kind of a joke, but I don't know if it is a joke. Should there be stakes for this? Should the winner get something that actually impacts the season? Like, I don't know, playoff points?
And one of our Patreon members, Finley, questions this as well, saying, it blows my mind that NASCAR didn't put playoff points or anything tangible on the line to make this tournament actually mean something. And then Finley added, meanwhile, they made a sudden announcement of a fastest lap bonus point a week before the season started.
Yeah, my favorite quote of the podcast this year is, "You can't be mad when you put ears on Mickey Mouse," from our good friend Dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I understand the outrage that would definitely be. Oh my god, can you imagine the outrage if they announced that like the winner of this gets a berth to the playoffs? Could you imagine? But my thing is with NASCAR,
I'd care about it more.
Well, that's the thing. If I'm watching, and yeah, it's like we have gimmicked up again. We're handing out points for fastest laps. Now that's very marginal compared to a playoff berth and 5 playoff points. So fair enough. But I don't know, dude. Just look at our playoff format. Like, is this really that out of place? Like,
see, I'm perfectly fine with it. And Zach, if they did give a playoff berth, like it's a race win if you won this whole thing, playoff berth and 5 playoff points, I wouldn't care. Like, okay, sure, why not?
Winning a game at Disneyland wins you a trip to Disney World. It makes sense. It makes sense. I'm serious, though. It fits with what NASCAR is. We have elimination playoffs. We're going to have an elimination tournament in the middle of the summer, and the winner of that gets 5 playoff points. This challenges the teams, because especially the teams that are kind of in like a summer slump, and we're going to all these random tracks that don't really... make like these road courses and stuff that don't really apply to the playoffs. Well, this gives them something to do.
Yeah.
They're going to try to win this.
And I don't now with all of these big names out, like if they did have this, the stakes would be even higher, because you could totally have a big upset. Like someone could make it to the final at Indy and try and do fuel mileage to outduel Chase Elliott, in the final round.
Yes.
Like, and it could have become something more interesting, but me personally, I don't think I'm going to care until it's the final 4, or and then the final at Indy. Mm-hmm. Like, I just don't.
That's the thing.
Think I care until the end,
especially because the last 2 races are Dover and Indy. Not only is it just for so many reasons it's going to be better because it's normal tracks. There's less people to follow, because like following it at Atlanta, girl, it's the whole entire field. I don't even know who's matched up against who, and it's a super speedway. But I think it's a lot more tangible. Even maybe when we get to Sonoma, when there's only 8 guys, it's just going to be much more tangible when there's less. Because it's also not like, well, I guess it is kind of like the NCAA, where it's like there's multiple games going on at once, but it's also like spread over the whole weekend, not spread out over 3 hours. I think that makes it a little bit challenging to follow. So I'm on the NASCAR website, and they have like really cool head-to-head stats, so these driver pairings, like they're head-to-head. So Brad Keselowski and Ty Dillon, it shows like, Brad Keselowski has beat Ty Dillon 29 times or whatever. This season, he's beaten him 8 times at this track, 0, and then at similar tracks too. Like it's cool head-to-head stats. That's cool. And I like the stat part about it. And So I'm going to wait to give my final opinion on this in-season challenge after it ends, because I think we have to let this actually finish. Yeah. I think it's just going to be a rough start because of the tracks.
Yeah. I hope if they do this next year, Atlanta's not in it.
Yeah.
I think having a super speedway in this kind of thing, in-season challenge is weird.
Tournament.
Why isn't it sponsored, by the way? Is it sponsored?
Yeah, give it a sponsor. It's not sponsored on TNT. It's got like a little TNT Sports logo.
I guess, okay.
Just call it the TNT Sports Tournament. TNT Sports Cup. I don't know. Whatever. I'm nitpicking. I don't really care. But
yeah. No, I don't. I have no opinion on this, but like if they want me to actually care more, it would do the playoff berth. I actually think that would be a fine idea. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
And I tolerate the playoffs. Like, it is a flawed format. It's like, again, like I think it's actually a good format when you like actually understand that there's points you get throughout the season and everything. 3-race finale though. That's kind of the rumor possibly happening.
That's
possibly happening according to the rumors. So
is it really?
Might have it's a rumor out there.
I hope so. Some of these rumors are just rumors. You never know. So yeah,
so
I'll be interested to talk about this tournament every week, kind of our thoughts on it.
Yeah. Notable matchups for Chicago: Alex Bowman and Bubba Wallace. I think that one would be interesting.
Well, they're battling for the playoff cut line too. Like they're right above the playoff cut line, and they had drama at Chicago last year. That's interesting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's the second week in a row that they're bringing back beef, like with Blaney and Hocevar. But did you saw that tweet, right? Blaney, because Spire Motorsports was trying to be cute, be like, "Wow, take this L, Blaney," and then Blaney was like, "Oh, I just remembered what you did to me in the spring. Thanks, girl."
Dude,
You think Ryan Blaney cares what happens at road courses? Girl, he's about to throw
I hope
hands.
Ryan bumps and runs Carson at some point. I think it'd be funny.
He might bump and run, maybe.
Speak of Carson Hocevar, it's Carson Hocevar versus Tyler Reddick.
The tallest driver versus the shortest driver?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Kyle Larson might be shorter. I'm not sure.
Ty Gibbs might be shorter.
Ty Gibbs, he's a little baby.
Then it's Ty Gibbs versus AJ Allmendinger, two shorties right there, and
two road course guys,
two pretty good on the road courses.
They could go really far too. It's kind of crazy that it's almost unfortunate they have to versus each other right now, but
yeah,
like they could both go far, but it depends.
And do you have anything else on the tournament before we move on?
No. I'm interested.
I'm for your idea.
Like to reward state. You might as well. Because again, right now it's just an all-star race. And it's like, why have an all-star race? With the all-star race, I'm even thinking like, should you just like reward like a playoff win maybe? Like or a win. Playoff berth.
Kill the all-star race. Make this the all-star in-season challenge BS. On TNT.
I don't hate it.
Like,
because I mean, it's just the older I get, the more I realize fans just want to watch stuff that matters. We watch it and it's fun because it matters. It's not as fun if it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
that's just kind of the older I've got, that's the more I've realized.
And then a little note here on the Chicago race: there will be 41 entries, meaning one driver will DNQ. We have Will Brown in the 13 for Colleague. The 33 is Austin Hill for RCR. The 67, Corey Heim for 2311. 66 of Josh Blicky and Kathy Legs. Kathy, you like to call her, Zach. Catherine Legg in 78.
Catherine Legg. Who interviewed her? I think it was Xfinity this weekend during like one of the rain delays.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how like this isn't just like a fun little excursion for her. Like she really wants to learn NASCAR and she's up for the challenge. And I respect the hell out of that. Because she's also saying that like I have a lot to learn and I just need to get time in the seat. The booth went on to talk about how it's really hard to get this kind of experience because there's no practice anymore. It was during Xfinity because I remember Kyle Busch talking about it. There's just no practice anymore. I'll be interested to see how she does this weekend. It's a road course. I don't think she's raced. She did race Mexico. She did.
She's done a couple Xfinity road courses, but I don't know about Cup.
And the Cup car is so different. My one thing with her is I almost feel like she needs to like just stick to the Xfinity car for a little bit, but that doesn't. And the Cup car being so different doesn't help her either, because then she's like running two cars at once.
Her whole career's kind of been like that. She's kind of jumped from one thing to another, and I just looked it up. She is 44.
She's like me in iRacing.
So I'm curious, like, is this like a long-term thing? Like she wants to be competitive?
It is my concern. Because
you know what I mean? Because she's at the age where a lot of drivers start to retire at her age. And this is not a diss against her. I love that she's doing this. I just wonder, like, what is the goal long-term for her?
Because when you're a racing driver, most of them pick a discipline because you're good at it and you stay good at it and you don't have to learn.
She's done IMSA, NASCAR, IndyCar, and probably more. Like she's kind of done it all. We've
rarely seen drivers be able to be successful in multiple. Like Montoya comes to mind. I don't know. But I mean, I am excited for her to be in NASCAR though. And but in terms of these five drivers, I wonder who's going to go home. Because honestly, it could be Kathy. They just weren't really that fast at Mexico. It could be Josh Bilicki. That 66 car is held together by duct tape, it feels like. So I don't know. I'm serious.
I hope Arby's is
pretty good.
I hope Arby's is sponsoring it, because Arby's replaced McDonald's as like the premier sponsor for Chicago this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, what's the Patreon password? We'll sponsor it. I mean, Gay Racing Pod. Dude, we're going to have 1 million viewers next week. Oh my gosh. Everyone's going to see our little podcast on that car. Getting lapped by whoever's in the lead. Corey Heim. I hope Corey Heim has a good race.
I like Corey Heim.
Every time I hear his name, though, I hear Jamie Little. Corey Heim wins. It's Heim time.
Man, Did Vince Welch get to call him any races?
I think that was literally when Vince Welch left, but I'm not sure.
Can you say Corey Haim in Vince Welch's voice?
Corey Haim! That doesn't
Thank
sound
you.
right. I've never heard that before. I don't think that's
See, I don't think I've heard it. So I'm like, I can't hear it.
I think he was like still in ARCA. My thing is, too, can we talk about the truck race at Lime Rock? Not the actual race, because, you know, Corey Haim won, which, not saying it was a bad race, but the little, Mike Joy, he got to do a little bit at near the start of the broadcast before the race, and he basically gave the viewers like a little history lesson on Lime Rock Park, because it has a lot of history in terms of American racing, American motorsports. Talked about, I mean, you have to listen to it, talked about greats like Mario Andretti's race there. I'm already forgetting names, but he claimed on Twitter he did all of that without a script, and they just edited in clips afterwards. And I've been critical of Mike Joy on this podcast, like in the Fox booth and the Cup booth. And I think part of that is I don't think Mike Joy enjoys the current NASCAR Cup Series, like, just product.
Yeah.
But taking him to Lime Rock Park, which is, you know, he's from the Northeast, a track that he's very fit. He's raced there. Like, he's raced cars there. A track that he's very passionate about. You just hear and see the spark coming out of him from one of the most legendary voices of NASCAR history.
Yeah.
Right. Getting to hear that really gave me goosebumps.
I learned a lot.
I thought that was really cool.
It was awesome.
I would love to sit down with Mike Joy and just listen to stories. Yeah. That's the kind of thing. I think he's past his prime in terms of calling cup races, but I don't even know if that's his fault. I think he's just kind of outgrown what NASCAR has become. He just likes good old classic racing. And that's kind of what we had at Lime Rock on trucks with Saturday. Should have been Sunday. There's no NASCAR race on Sunday.
Yeah,
why not have trucks?
That should have been Sunday.
Why not have the trucks on Sunday on Fox? Dude, missed opportunity.
Apparently the U.S. Open for golf or something like that was on NBC at the same time. So that's probably
why. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. No, good for Mike Joy. Let's talk about TNT. This was their first cup race. Atlanta was since 2014. How did you like it? What you watched?
Yeah, because I only watched half the race. I didn't watch any of the pre-race. Commercials weren't bad.
It was kind of like a FS1 USA.
Yeah,
race.
because it was cable. It wasn't it wasn't like network. So that was fine. You were complaining about the onboard cameras. I can kind of agree with that. There were moments
they used onboards way too much.
I think there were more, again, I like onboard cameras when it feels like they kind of put me in the driver's seat almost, and I'm like, I can really figure out how they're driving the car. I hear them let off in the corner. But they definitely, especially for super speedways, I don't like it. NBC's done it too. Onboards at super speedways are a little, you got to be careful with them. But use them sparingly.
Well, then they like rotate them. I think Fox specifically does it. They like rotate the camera on an onboard, and was like, "Oh my god, they're crashing." No, they're not.
Yeah. Because what Prime did really well is they would zoom out like a lot, and Dale Jr., who's in the booth, is talking you through stuff that maybe you're not focused on. Maybe it's something that's happening not at the front. Maybe it's a little bit more back.
Yeah.
So. But I don't know. I don't really have any other complaints. But again, I didn't watch the whole broadcast because I was driving home at one point. So I don't really have a lot to say.
I have two complaints, but I want to say this was solid. I think this was better than what TNT was in their most previous stint. And this is first race back.
Yes.
Like, I really liked that they had more driver interviews post race. Fox doesn't do that, and Prime even didn't do that. They would do the winner, and then they do two on the stage, I think. Oh,
you mean like pit road interviews?
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
Like TNT, it was kind of like going back to the 2000s and 2010s. Like they interviewed Eric Jones. Like they interviewed a lot of drivers after the race. That was awesome.
Yeah. And they also, again, they had a really good post-race show, which I don't know. Those Fox people were saying, "Oh, we can't do a post-race show like Prime because we're on TV. We're on network TV." And then TNT go ahead and does it, but it's late on a Saturday night. What else is supposed to come on after?
Yeah,
that's kind of that's a fair argument. So but still, they did it on cable.
So
just saying.
The booth was still really good. It's the same guys as Prime, Adam Alexander, Dale Jr., Steve Letarte.
And
they were
Steve
good.
Letarte, I feel like Steve Letarte had less to say at Atlanta because it's not a strategy race.
Exactly.
He still, during the cautions, he had a lot to say. He's like, I wouldn't pit right now. Or
Dale talked a lot.
Dale talked a lot, which makes sense because he's the driver. So it felt weird to compare because I feel like we just came off of like 5 straight strategy races.
Yeah.
And then we go to Atlanta, which is like, this is really cool to say. It's a driver's track.
Yeah.
Steve talked less, which I noticed. So it's hard to compare the booth when
that's fair.
It's exactly the same. But still, the directions.
We have different. 2 road courses coming up. You'll be hearing Steve all day.
Oh yeah, I think Steve will probably talk a little bit more at the road courses, and then when we get to Brickyard, Steve will be cooking. There'll be steam coming out of his headphones. Oh my gosh,
can't wait.
And Dover too. Actually, Dover started to pass that.
So they actually had a intro when they first came on the air. Was Ludacris was doing like a little like voiceover piece. It was pretty cool.
Oh, I thought you meant he was like rapping something. Okay.
No.
Like, yeah, that's the new NASCAR. What was did they have a theme song? Was there a theme song?
Not that I remember.
They should have. Well, then they should have used what they used to use. Like Dynamite.
I'm pretty sure it came on the air with Ludacris. So I don't. If there was an intro, I might have been doing something else, and I might have missed it.
Because Prime. I love when they do this. I love when they play a whole 2-minute music video at the start of the broadcast. I love that. It's like an anime opening for NASCAR.
Yeah.
Especially if they show the drivers. Oh my god, that's my favorite thing.
My other complaint is that I watched on HBO Max, and it doesn't do side by side. NBC does this as well with Peacock. I think it is 2025. These networks should be able to figure that out.
That's the thing, though. Yeah.
Someone responded to me, and this is probably exactly what it is that they sold the advertisements differently for streaming versus network. Well, too bad. Figure it out.
That's stupid, but it makes sense. But that's still stupid.
It makes sense, but it's stupid. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, then sell the advertisements to be side by side. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah. Yep.
It's still not as bad as NBC because instead of showing side by side, it'll be like, your program will be back in a minute. Dude, here's the best song ever.
Yeah. Otherwise, TNT, pretty good. I described it to our friend Jackson as like, they're not the best, but they're not the worst either. And that's kind of how they were in their original stint.
I never had a complaint about NASCAR on TNT. Really? Back in the day, like they're just, this is different. They were quirky. I feel like they were kind of quirky, especially their graphics. Their ticker
Larry Mack,
weird.
Larry Mack doing a magic trick at Chicagoland.
Yeah, or his little bits. He had a bunch of bits he did with TNT.
He did.
Oh my gosh, that tow truck one I showed you, where the guy was, the girl was trying to repossess his car or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, TNT. The lap count on the ticker though, like I might need to get new glasses.
That is a complaint I saw others say. I personally had no issue with it.
Yeah, but imagine if you're watching on your phone.
Right. It is. The text is a lot smaller. The pylon.
Yeah, they need to make it more
a lot smaller. Yeah.
They just need to make it more readable. Like F1 has the lap count and medium-sized text, like it should be. Like, because that's your clock. You know, like in a football game, that's one of the most important things to have on the screen. Just
one other thing. I speak at the pylon. I liked how it was transparent. That was nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
Anything else on TNT, Zach?
I missed the TNT wide open coverage July 4th weekend at Daytona. That's it.
Yeah, me too.
I wish we were going to
Formula One. The movie.
The movie
released
finally.
And Zach, it got better reviews than I thought it would.
Oh.
People actually kind of like
see it. So I don't know. Unfortunately, you live far away, so I don't know who I'm supposed to go see this movie with.
Girl, I wish.
I asked Twitter. A lot of you guys said that it's a good movie to show somebody who's not into racing, which gives me hope. And apparently it's one of those movies like apparently the sounds and effects sound really good in the theater.
Really? Okay.
So because it's like, I don't know, it's kind of, like Drive to Survive, they like pump the noise up with the cars. Like, that's must be what it like. It must kind of feel like you're at the race somewhat with the sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And like some of the camera shots I've seen from the trailers, it's like literally it looks like a driver onboard camera. Like it's cool. I definitely want to go check it out just for the spectacle of it all, at least.
Yeah.
And then the storyline's probably acceptable. So, the only thing is, and this is what this is something that actually kind of annoys me when racing fans criticize like anytime racing's in Hollywood. Like some of the stuff's legit, but some of the stuff is like just let the movie just be a movie.
That Talladega Nights comes to mind when you say that.
Yeah, like
you've seen Talladega Nights?
I haven't like sat down and watched it in full like in a long time, but
okay. Yeah. Like it is a parody of like NASCAR fans and NASCAR itself, but like I think it's funny. Like I have no issue with it.
Like Will Ferrell's on it, like chill,
goofy.
But
it sounds like this is going to be a more dramatized, kind of like Drive to Survive, but in a different way. And I think that's fine. Like,
if there's something that's fans. Like, if there's something like, for example, I think the Rolex, and I don't know if this is a spoiler, but like apparently the Rolex 24 is in the film, but it doesn't take place in January. Is that really a big deal? Like, it's kind of, it kind of irks me. I get it, kind of irks me too, but like
in the Cars movies, Daytona is a 500 lap race at Cars 3.
Okay, that bothers me more than actually anything. And that bothers me a lot.
See, even that I don't care because like it's meant for children.
No, you're right though. Who cares? It's just
who cares?
Yeah. People would
no one's going to notice but the diehards.
I bet they do run 500 laps at these boring NASCAR races.
It's called the Daytona 500. Of course,
of course it's 500. Why wouldn't?
What do you mean they don't?
Let's do that in real life.
Formula One, the race in Austria. Max Verstappen got crashed on lap 1 by Kimi Antonelli, who made a little rookie mistake. I want to say Max Verstappen, I thought was going to be like really mad and everything. He actually handled this really well. He actually showed a lot of grace to Kimi Antonelli. And I think it's because he wasn't given that himself as a rookie or just in general.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think it's because he doesn't really care anymore about his
really?
So, I think he's kind of...
Verstappen's now 61 points out of the championship lead.
I think he's kind of... Well, I guess he wasn't that out of it, but still... Yeah, I think what happened with Antonelli, he did not expect there to be less grip on the very inside lane when he was making his move. Also, just, I don't know, on a race start in a pack of cars going to a really heavy braking zone, you kind of lose sight of where to brake as well. Yeah. Like your braking reference is farther away from you, and there's a bunch of cars blocking it. So... rookie mistake, exactly what it says in our doc. It's just a rookie mistake. And apparently he's going to have a 3-place grid penalty at wherever their next race is, which I love that, by the way, because I think in NASCAR when drivers do stupid things they should get a penalty. That would be nice. I believe the next race is Silverstone this weekend. I love when they do the British Grand Prix on 4th of July weekend. It's great.
Zach, Silverstone is at 10 a.m. Eastern. It's a whole hour later than this weekend.
So we have Silverstone, Mid-Ohio, and Chicago on the same day. That's exhausting. God.
Yeah.
At
least we don't got to get up as early if you want to watch them all.
That is 8+ hours. That is 8+ hours of racing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I hope it doesn't rain in Chicago again.
I can't believe people like racing. I'm just kidding. Chicago, I hope it doesn't rain. Please. Can we just have a normal... What's that thing from the Magic School Bus? Can we please just have a normal field trip? Can we please just have a normal Chicago race? Please. I hope it's not the last Chicago race.
Back to F1. Lando Norris fended off Oscar Piastri. And Oscar was making a lot of crazy moves on him early in this race. I thought... There's one point I thought they were going to crash. I actually gasped watching.
Ooh, yeah, they're getting a little...
But then once the pit stops happened, Lando got a gap and never really looked back. Lando is now only 15 points behind Oscar Piastri for the championship. It's looking more and more likely we're going to have a McLaren Drivers' Champion this year.
God, Is this bad to say that I kind of hope they have a repeat of what happened with Lewis and Max at Silverstone in 2021? You remember that?
Oh yeah.
But both of them spin out and wreck. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
that'd go back to like Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton in 16
at Spain. Yeah, because what if they're both on the front row?
Could be.
This is gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
it's gonna get ugly. I don't even think they're halfway through their season. They might be actually, but
they're getting pretty close. I think their season going into like December or something.
I know. I feel like they have a lot of races in the fall. Like it doesn't. I feel like they're halfway points in like August or something. But
I think they have a summer break, right?
Yeah, they have a summer break too. There's a lot of races left, and this is going to get ugly. I don't think this is going to be pretty. I don't. Yeah, this is gonna get ugly. That's my prediction. So
yeah. Well, you mentioned IndyCar is back this weekend at Mid-Ohio as well. It's time for fantasy. At Road America, I had Alex Palou who won. You had Kyle Kirkwood who finished 4th. And for points, Zach, you have 11 points. I have 9. So I get to go first. You'll never guess who I'm going with. I'm going with Alex Palou.
He's won a lot this year. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
You know who else has won a lot this year?
Who? Tell me. Who else has won this year in IndyCar?
I'll give you a hint. It's not Alex Palou. It's someone who's won that's not Alex Palou.
Oh. Who is this? Who is this mysterious driver?
Kyle Kirkwood.
Kirkwood?
He finished 4th at Mid-Ohio last year. Well, no. Just kidding. Never mind. He did not. But Andretti finished 4th and 5th at Mid-Ohio last year, so they were good. But he finished 4th at Road America. He still got it. He's a proven winner. He's the only option I have left if I want a proven winner this year. So there we go. I thought about Scott McLaughlin for a few seconds, and then I stopped thinking about it.
Well, I was always going to pick Palou, obviously, because I picked first. But Scott Dixon is who I was kind of concerned you would pick, maybe, because Dixon's, he's always kind of like up there.
He's due for a win, isn't he?
Yeah, that was my thought.
He's due for a win. Has he ever had when was the last time he had a winless season? Has he ever? Has he ever had a winless? Certainly, he's had a winless season. Certainly.
Let us know down in the comments if you find that.
I'm not that familiar with IndyCar history. I don't know.
So NASCAR is at the Chicago Street Course. For Atlanta, Zach had Ryan Blaney, who finished 40th, and I had Austin Cindric, who finished 38th.
It is not hot Blaney summer. It was not hot Blaney summer Saturday night. Oh, gosh.
So
we are fighting for 38th, Alex. How did that decide then? Was it whoever got to the garage stall first? Like, what the hell?
I guess so.
I'm gonna call NASCAR up and be like, so why did this happen? Because this is costing me a fantasy point.
Well, so Zach, we are tied 15-15, and last week we got to this, didn't realize until we're making picks. What have we decided is the official tiebreaker? You told me earlier, but I want you to tell our audience.
And we use this tiebreaker sometime in spring, I feel like, because if we're tied in points, it's kind of like real life where whoever has the most wins is the points leader. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're tied on wins, it then goes to most second place finishes. And then if you're tied on that, most third, etc. That's how they do it in real life NASCAR. So that's how we do it. That means we're tied on wins, but I have more second place finishes. That means I am the technical points leader, which means since Alex is not the leader, he gets to pick first.
Yep.
So who you picking?
This might be very stupid, Zach. I might be blowing my chance here. But I'm going to go with Ty Gibbs.
Oh, okay. Good. Because I'm picking SVG.
Okay.
And if you picked SVG, I was going to pick Ty Gibbs.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, those are my two. See, I like this game. I just got to pick 2 drivers. And it's like, I love when you pick first. I'm like, okay, I don't even got to make a choice.
Yeah.
It's like picking first is an advantage technically, but it's also like it's almost like I don't know what to call it. It's like, it's less thought I have to go through. It's less mental energy I have to spend. I love when I have to make a decision.
When I was doing research earlier, Ty Gibbs finished decent in both Chicago races. He obviously was the next best car, I would say, at Mexico, despite not the finish being there. If he's going to get a win, it's going to be on a road course, Ty Gibbs.
Yeah.
And he also has Chris Gapehart kind of playing a strategist role. Like he's not the crew chief, but he's like the strategist.
Oh, that's like a new thing. Like he's like
yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, that's the only team not in the playoffs for JGR. Yeah. Send Chris Gapehart on the box. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and Toyota's typically been the better like manufacturer on the road courses. I'd say 2311's kind of weird because Reddick was kind of absent at Mexico.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't go with him.
Well, I mean, Chicago's a driver's track. I don't even think manufacturers mean anything. It's a driver's track. Watch Kyle Larson was really fast this weekend last year in Xfinity and Cup, but he wrecked because it was wet. I wonder if this is a bounce back weekend for him, but I don't know. And he got in a wreck at Mexico. Like he just hasn't he hasn't had a chance to breathe lately in terms of just like competing to win.
Last month since Indy, he's just kind of been literally out of it.
So I'm curious to see how he does. Alex Bowman won here last year, but definitely some strategy played into that. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But
when we were texting over what the tiebreaker should be, if you had gone first, we did last week, where was the previous race worst finisher, and you had picked Ty Gibbs, I was going to go with Christopher Bell.
Really?
Bell has been pretty solid on.
You don't want to pick S. Well. What's with you not picking SVG? Like, you just don't think lightning strikes.
I'm going for a win, and I know he could win, but I think SVG is probably going to be more of like a top 10 kind of guy.
Didn't I literally say that before the Mexico race? I literally said that. Like SVG he's a top 10 guy, but he's not going to run away from the field. You literally posted that clip.
But that again was a new track, which is why I think it was a little crazy to say for Mexico. Chicago is not a new track anymore.
Unless it doesn't rain, then it's basically a new track. They've never run that race dry. I'm just saying.
I think he's going to be like in the top 5, top 10, but I
can't wait for you to post this clip Sunday night. This is going to be great. I can't wait. You are literally, you should have learned from my mistake to not say stupid things on the internet, Alex. And here you are.
You say stupid things on the internet all the time. What are you
I'm really good
about?
at it. I got to be good at something.
You're good at it.
Yeah. You know what else? You know what else we're good at? Putting out special Pride Month episodes all month long.
So true. Oh, what a fun month. We were busy. We were booked and busy.
We were busy. I'm exhausted.
Oh my gosh.
Like I felt like this was like a full-time job some days because my work schedule is not normal during the summer.
This was so much fun, and I hope you guys go back if you haven't listened to all our guest episodes this month, because we put a lot of effort into that, and I'm so glad that we're like done for the year on doing 2 episodes a week. It's a lot of work. We put a lot of effort into it. Yeah. We appreciate all support. Appreciate our Patreon subscribers for helping make that happen with all the questions we got. Patreon.com/gayracingpod. If you want to join that, $2 a month just to send in a question for the episodes. $5 a month to get any bonus stuff early, including all the Pride Month episodes. Consider giving us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Consider liking and subscribing on YouTube. Follow the podcast at Gay Racing Pod on Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And follow us on Blue Sky and Twitter at Dreamy Zack Racing and at Newgaden.
Yeah, it's been a busy Pride Month. Hope you guys keep spreading on the Pride, even in the month of July and the rest of the year. We're going to keep existing in this motorsport space, and
we're not going anywhere.
Enjoy it. Yeah. Trust me, I would have left already if I was going to. God. All right, we'll see you guys next week to talk about everything. Mid-Ohio, Silverstone, Chicago, so much. It'll be great. We'll see y'all then. Bye.
Bye.